Disclaimer. This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities.
Hello, what's up guys? I am Parath Kumar from PC Bug Solutions. Today we are going to review about 10 worst operating systems ever. Let's get started.
Audio Jungle.
1. Windows Vista. I really hate this particular operating system from Microsoft more than Windows Me and Windows 8. After Windows XP, Microsoft released Windows Vista the 8th of November, 2006. But the OS was a huge disaster because of its bloat, its slowness, its hardware and software incompatibilities, its high cost, its confusing versions, its security fumbles and other ineptitude make it one of the worst operating systems ever made. 2. Windows Me. Windows Me, a special Millennium Edition OS from Microsoft with promises of improved performance, launched on September 2000, which went a real failure in the market. Even Microsoft ditched the OS after 1 year. It was the last operating system released in the Windows 9X series, because of its slowness and unstable performance make it one of the worst operating systems ever made. 3. Windows 8. Microsoft Windows 8 introduced major changes to the operating system's platform and user interface to improve its user experience on tablets. Windows 8 was the first Microsoft OS which introduced tile interface, which was unsuited for majority of home computing. And also Microsoft has done away with desktop, which people had grown to love, and also with Windows 8, Microsoft ditched one of its popular feature, Start button, make it one of the worst operating systems. Because of so many negative response, Microsoft was forced to release Windows 8.1 later, back on June 26, 2013, with the restoration of a visible Start button on the desktop and the ability to boot to the desktop instead of the Start screen. 4. Corel Linux. Corel Linux, Debian-based operating system made by Corel, released to the public on November 15, 1999, is another one of the worst operating systems ever made. At that time it mainly competed against Windows 98 and Windows 2000 by Microsoft, plus Mac OS 9 by Apple. The major attraction of the operating system was the users can migrate Microsoft Windows settings to Corel Linux. So the OS out with high expectation. Actually, Corel Linux was graphically ahead of its time, but the installer crashed more often during installation process, and once OS was installed it struggled to start working in many great computers. 5. Lindows. Lindows, a mixture of Linux and Windows. Lindows first came out in 2001, promised to let you run all Windows applications on Linux. Within few months Lindows Inc. realized it was a bad idea. Even with Wine, a way to run Windows programs on Linux, the company couldn't get enough Windows programs running on Lindows to sell it as a Windows replacement. 6. Java OS. Yes, you heard it right. Java OS, an operating system with a Java virtual machine as a fundamental component, originally developed by Sun Microsystems. We know most of the operating system, like Windows, Mac OS, Unix or Unix-like, are primarily written in the C programming language, and the Java OS is primarily written in Java, one of the hardest programming language. 7. Symbian. Symbian is a mobile operating system OS and computing platform designed for smartphones. Symbian was developed way back in 1997, and it wasn't until 2002, in the launch of the Nokia S60, that people began to take notice of it. Because of its many inaccuracies in previous versions of the firmware, riddled with bugs and errors, while the built-in web browser always struggled to load WAP-enabled web pages, and incompatibility with later versions of the system made Symbian one of the worst operating systems ever. 8. MS-DOS 4.0. It's not like Microsoft was still spending much time in 1988 getting MS-DOS right. The earlier versions of the operating system really weren't bad for their day. MS-DOS 3.3 was actually quite good. But then along came MS-DOS 4.0. Oh, it was horrid. Programs broke on it as regularly as clockwork. You'd be in the middle of a task, and your program would just freeze up completely. Nothing this bad was seen again until Windows' blue screen of death. 9. Windows 1.01. Microsoft's first attempt at a graphical user interface for MS-DOS was, in a word, dreadful. It was ugly, it shipped 2 years late, and even then didn't work well. And besides, there wasn't anything that would run on it anyway. Windows applications really didn't get going until Windows 2.03 showed up 2 years later. 10. ITS Incompatible Time-Sharing System. What can one say about an operating system written in DEC, PDP-6 and PDP-10 assembly language that supported one monicase, 6-character file name per directory? Yes, you read that right, each file resided in its own separate directory. And security was nil, for example. No passwords were required, and you could log into anyone's active session and do pretty much anything you wanted with it. What's amazing is that despite being an incredible pain to use, and with no security whatsoever, ITS actually was an important operating system in its day. While it was eventually forced out by the rise of Unix, many programs still in use today, such as the Emacs editor and the Lisp language, got their start on ITS. And Edit Text Here Natural Reader is a professional text-to-speech program that converts any written text into spoken words. The paid versions of Natural Reader have many more features. Got their start on ITS. And Edit Text Here Natural Reader is a professional text-to-speech program that converts any written text into spoken words. The paid versions of Natural Reader have many more features.
So anyways friends, I hope you like this video. Now I have to go. To take care of you and others, help and respect people, and of course do not forget to subscribe our channel.